Today we're going to talk about what's in your iCloud. My iCloud will look a little bit different than yours. Your iCloud is a service that Apple provides, and we'll explain what that is, what it does for you. And as always, I'm just trying to make the technology easier to understand for people, no matter what they're interested in. And so I appreciate you're joining me today, and we'll see what we can learn a little bit about iCloud. Today's agenda, we're going to take a look at some iCloud features, what it does for you. We'll take a look at the parts of iCloud, and we're going to take a look at what it looks like on iPhone, iPad, and Mac, because that's where you can view it and get information about what's in your iCloud on your iPhone, your iPad, and your Mac, because that'll show you storage information about each of the parts and what each of the parts are storing. One of the important things of iCloud features is that it is connected to your Apple ID. Your identity with Apple is your Apple ID. So whenever you have register a device for warranty, when you purchase a plan or register with Apple to log into your Apple ID, you are getting into your Apple services that you get, and that's how Apple identifies who you are as an individual. And it doesn't matter how many devices you own, you have the same Apple ID as far as Apple is concerned across all the devices and services that you use with Apple. So iCloud is connected and used with your Apple ID. Many times people have synchronization problems between their devices, and oftentimes it's because they might have created a second Apple ID at some point in time, and they're not logged into the same Apple ID on all of their devices. And so you have to be logged into your same Apple ID on your iPhone, your iPad, your Mac, in order for iCloud to be recognized as the same iCloud storage across all of your devices. Apple gives you 5 gigabytes of free storage. It's fairly common for most cloud services to just give you 5 gigabytes. It's not a lot, but, and typically your backup might end up doing more. We'll talk about what uses up that 5 gigabytes of storage, but you basically get a total block of storage for iCloud, and that's what Apple considers your available storage. And obviously, they do have upgrades available for purchase. I think you can get maybe 50 gigabytes currently for about 99 cents a month. I have a 200 gigabyte plan that is $2.99 a month. I've seen plans up to 2 terabytes. They may even go up even higher than that. So you can purchase quite a bit of storage through iCloud if you want to use it. The upgrades are available, and you can purchase them through the Apple iCloud settings in your account. Now, this is a quick overview. We're going to go through each of these blocks. iCloud as a container holds your photos, your drive, your iCloud backup, and your app data, but they're a little bit different pieces for it. We're talking about iCloud as a whole, and these are the different things that go into it. We're going to go through each of these in more detail. I just want to give you an advanced look at what this is going to be like for you so you can take advantage of it and look at it. iCloud Drive is for files and folders. It syncs with your iPhone, your iPad, and your Mac. It will also, do some synchronization if you use it through iCloud.com. And it includes folders that are pre-built and for Pages, Apple's word processing app, Keynote, and Numbers. It includes those folders automatically. So when you create a document in Pages on your Mac, it will automatically save it in your iCloud Drive in the Pages folder. If you do a Keynote presentation, it will automatically save it in your Keynote folder. And if you do a spreadsheet in Numbers, it'll automatically create it. Those are folders that are pre-created out of the box for you as part of your iCloud Drive. It basically is for holding files and folders. And you don't have to just use it for Apple type of folders. You can use it for files like PDF files. You can upload JPEG files to it. You can create folders just like you can do with any kind of of Finder tool, and it'll show up in Finder on your navigation bar. It'll be there available in your Files application on your iPhone and iPad. So you can get to it from all of your devices whenever you want to, but it'll hold files and folders of standard computer file types. iCloud Photos includes all your photos only if you turn on iCloud photo storage in your settings. Most people take photos with their phone, but you might have photos on your Mac, you might have photos on your iPad, and each device has to be turned on in order for it to synchronize. If you have iCloud photo storage turned on your phone, but not on your iPad, you'll have a different view of photos from one device to another. It's important to understand that iCloud Photos pushes all of your photos up to the cloud and then gives you a thumbnail view on your device that you can use to look at all of your photos. But when you actually want to edit a photo, it'll download the photo from iCloud onto your device for editing or other things that you might want to do with it. But it syncs across all of them. And there's tools where you can use iCloud on even Windows. It also syncs up with iCloud.com. So it's basically all of your photos, but you have to turn on iCloud photo storage in your iCloud settings for photos. The next thing is iCloud Backup. iCloud Backup is for your iPhone and your iPad. It backs up your iPhone and your iPad, but it does not back up your Mac. Mac uses your Time Machine for backup. There is no function for iCloud Backup with Mac. However, if you do have files stored in your iCloud Drive, they will be available for you to be able to go and look at when you want to. And then the last part of iCloud is something called iCloud App Data. Apple gives their own apps the ability to save data in iCloud. So typically things like notes and calendar and reminders, your bookmarks, passwords from Apple applications, but also third-party apps are given the ability to access and save data in iCloud. These pieces of data do not show up in iCloud Drive. So iCloud Drive is a part of iCloud. The data from these apps is also a part of iCloud, but it is not something you'll see in Finder when you look in Finder, but I'll show you in settings where you can see it when you look at it in settings. So your iCloud is going to have iCloud Drive for files and folders, your iCloud Photos if you turn on iCloud Photo Storage, your iCloud Backup for just your iPhone and your iPad, and your iCloud App Data. All of these things take up space in iCloud. So you may not think you're doing that much with iCloud. You see, gee, I only have a few files in my iCloud Drive. Why am I getting a message that I'm out of space in my iCloud storage? Well, you might have a backup. You might have more app data. You might have photos turned on. And so those are things that can take up your iCloud as well. But iCloud as a whole takes up a lot of information, not just a specific file or folder. It's not like a traditional cloud drive where you just have data filed away in folders and files that you use. It has other things that Apple doesn't show in your Finder view, but they are part of your iCloud storage usage. I think it's time to take a look at iCloud settings, and we'll take a look at some screen shares that I can get. You should be seeing my Mac right now, and you should be seeing settings here on the left-hand column. I went to my Apple icon on the upper left of my Mac menu bar, clicked on System Settings. At the top, you'll see hopefully your name, not mine, but I'm showing you mine. You'll see your name and it says Apple account. When you click on that, it pulls up a lot of information about your Apple account. It shows personal information, what your sign is. You can change your password. It shows iCloud, which we'll look at, family, media, and purchases you might have bought from movies or Apple TV, You can sign it while you sign in with Apple, what devices, because Apple, like other services, gives you the ability to sign in with your Apple ID. Then it'll show your devices that you have that you purchased with Apple and registered. Apple keeps track of your warranties and maintenance plans. We want to look at iCloud. So whenever you see a small little caret symbol there, that's called the disclosure arrow. We'll click on that and we will see something called iCloud. And I have what's called iCloud Plus because I'm paying for a plan. And it says I am using storage 103.4 of 200 gigabytes used. I can manage that storage, but it shows me some things. Here's my iCloud features. I manage my plan. If I want to add or update, I can manage my plan. I have the ability to share my iCloud storage space with my family. When you go to iCloud Plus, and I think you have to go to the 200 gigabyte plan, but I'm not positive, you do have the ability to share your storage with people that you identify as Apple IDs you want to be able to use it for. However, what we see here is what's saved to iCloud. I have 8,502 photo items. That includes photos and videos, anything in my iCloud photo storage. I have 295.4 megabytes of stuff saved in iCloud Drive. I am syncing my passwords, and I'm syncing notes and messages and mail. But there's also a lot of other things that are saved in iCloud. Let's take a look at this manage. This shows me what is being used by my iCloud storage, and it shows iCloud photos are using 27%, backups are using 18%, family 4%, WhatsApp Messenger 0.6%, and others 1%. That tells me there's more in iCloud than just my files and folders. And I'm going to take a look at Finder in a minute. I'll show you what happens in Finder, but it shows me what is going on here. It says iCloud Photos, 54.4 gigabytes. That's usually your largest, but my backups are taking 36.9 gigabytes. Okay, so my photos just are my iCloud photo storage. My backups are my backups of my iPhone and my iPad. But WhatsApp Messenger, which is not an Apple app, is able to store data in iCloud. That's what the app data is part of. WhatsApp Messenger is using up some app data, as are these other apps, Notes, Messages, but Keynote, Apple Books, Pages, Reminders, Numbers, Stickers. You can see all these apps have a little bit of data they're using that is available for them to use with iCloud. And so that's what others makes up. When an app uses a little bit more data, it'll separate out that app, but others is 1%. And you can see my notes. I have over 1,000 notes, but it's using a gigabyte of storage out of my 200 gigabytes. If you save photos in WhatsApp, the photos will typically get saved to your iCloud Drive when you're using it on an Apple device. Messages, typically these are the photos that people attach. The actual text messages don't take up a lot of space. So that's an example of what shows up in your iCloud Drive when you want to manage it. You want to see everything that's saved in iCloud. This shows it when you click on See All. My photos are turned on. My iCloud Drive, passwords and keychain, notes, messages and cloud, iCloud Mail, Find My Mac, contacts I'm not using because I tend to use Microsoft Outlook for contacts, but I do use iCloud Calendar, Reminders, Safari, and by having these all on, I'm able to sync them up between different devices whenever I want to. They are stored, the data is stored in iCloud. So when I go to Finder, which is Apple's file storage system, you will see enough things listed on the sidebar on the left. One of those things is iCloud Drive. Now in iCloud Drive, I have some folders that I've created for myself. And then there are folders that Apple creates for GarageBand, Keynote. If you download GarageBand, they'll create a folder where you save your GarageBand compositions. Keynote, Numbers, Pages, and Preview. I have other things that I've saved here that are not part of the standard iCloud, but this is what's iCloud Drive. And I can drag a document from any folder into iCloud Drive. And just like I can drag it into any type of folder I have in my sidebar or storage system. So this is for storing files. This is for storing folders. This is for storing information that you want to store, and it'll take anything from like a CSV file, a zip file, an Excel spreadsheet, PDFs, other types of things that are in there as well. So you can always use it for a variety of storage devices. You'll see a little cloud symbol here, or a cloud with an arrow coming down. A cloud shows you that the information is available in the cloud, but it is also available on your device. In Apple's settings for storage, they give you the ability to automatically upload your desktop and your documents folders to iCloud if you choose to do that. I don't do that because I use OneDrive for my storage. But if you choose to do that, then your documents and desktop will have a tool here that gives you the ability to select it and choose whether you want to see and keep this downloaded on your device or only have it in the cloud. This is an example of a camera manual I have that is in iCloud only. If I right-click on it, you'll see that I have the ability to download it and keep it downloaded from my iCloud Drive. My documents is not stored in iCloud, so I don't do that. So that's Finder and iCloud on a Mac. I'm going to go back to settings real quick here, and we'll take a look at settings just so we have some comparisons, because I want you to make a mental note of some of this information. 8,502 photos, 295.4 gigabytes. So on my settings, here's Bob Cohen. Instead of just saying Apple account, for some reason on the phone it says Apple account, iCloud Plus, and more. I don't know why, but it should have the same profile photo and the same name if you're logged in with the same Apple ID. It tells me if I've got a family member here who I'm sharing my iCloud storage with. I'm going to tap on Bob Cohen here, and I will have the opportunity to look at my Apple account. And then if I go down here to iCloud, I have a 200 gigabyte plan. I have two members in my family plan. When I tap this, I get this information here. Storage, 103.4 of 200 gigabyte. Photos, 8,502 items. Drive, 295.4 megabytes. It does show me passwords, messages, notes. I can see all of that's saved to iCloud here. So if I click on See All, it'll show me all of the different applications that are using iCloud storage for storage space and how much space they are using. So there's my notes, 1,000 notes. There's my messages. I use the health app, but I also have information here, contacts, reminders, journal, etc. And then it goes down to other apps, and then it goes down to third-party apps. So if we go down to, say, WhatsApp, here's WhatsApp is using 1.2 gigabytes. My WhatsApp account is a WhatsApp business account. For some reason, I set it up that way, but it's not a duplicate. It's using just the same amount of space. So when you have an app and it wants to save data in iCloud, it will use that iCloud app data storage space, and you can see what is saved to iCloud and how they sync. So you can get an understanding of what's being used. Now, this phone has an iCloud backup. My Mac did not have a backup, but my phone has a backup. And it says backup this phone. This phone is using 27.3 gigabytes of storage. I have a lot of stuff on my device, and so it makes sense. My iPad Air is another backup that's using 9.6 gigabytes of storage. So that's my iPhone. Now let's see if we can get my iPad working here with iCloud as well. Let me stop sharing. So I already went into settings. There's my picture. There's my name. Storage 103.4 of 200 gigabytes. Saved to iCloud. All of these numbers are the same because it's basically giving me a view of my iCloud from my iPad. I can view my iCloud from my phone, or I could view my iCloud from my Mac. The only thing different is that the iPad and the iPhone have backups, whereas the iMac does not have a backup. The Mac uses the backup for Time Machine, and that's how it works. So that's just a quick view of how everything shows up in your iCloud. I wanted to help explain a little bit about the different parts of it, also go into the settings a little bit and show you where you could see some of those settings and where you could find them for using when you want to use and understand a little bit about what's in your iCloud, how much is being saved there, and what you can take advantage of.